អង្គុយចុះ
Please be seated.
បាទអង្គជំរាបប្រកាស
The court is now in session and the chamber gives the floor to the defense counsel for Mr. Nguyen Chia. I would like to inform that the combined time for the two defense teams is one whole afternoon. You may proceed now.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Your Honors. Mr. Witness, before the break, we were speaking about an answer that you gave, and I would like to follow up on that, and that is by reading another answer that you gave earlier to investigators, that is E3/5521, question 124. And the questions that the investigators asked you was the following. For the period of 3 years, did you witness any arrests of people? And your answer is, the arrests were done confidentially. I never witnessed them. My question is to you now, could you elaborate this answer? Did you never really see any arrests of people ever?
But answer. That is my true statement. I never witnessed the arrests. They came at night time after they got the reports. They came to contact with the militia and people were brought away during the night time and it was very quiet.
Do you know what the reason was to be so quiet about arrests and why it happened at night time?
Answer. From what I knew, the arrest took place at night time because they did not want to let ordinary people know about the arrest.
Do you know, Mr. Witness, whether a distinction was made in the period of decay between so-called minor crimes on the one hand and serious crimes on the other hand? Was there such a difference, to your knowledge?
Answer. I could not give you my guess or my prediction how the two were different because I was not aware of the two.
In your years at Ninh Nang as community chief, nobody ever stole a coconut or cassave, for instance?
Answer. When I was in Nha Nhong commune, it was not the commune, it was the office. I was dealing in economic and I never witnessed any stealing of coconuts or of any other properties.
Have you ever heard of people within your commune being accused of stealing something because they were hungry?
បញ្ហានេះក៏
Answer: I never witnessed, I never heard of it.
Another topic that we already spoke about, and you spoke about it earlier, that is re-education. And that is a follow-up question to a question before the break. Do you know of any instances of people who were re-educated multiple times? People who were sent, coming back, sent, coming back. You might have answered this question already in other words, but I would like to make sure what your experience was. Have you ever heard of people who were sent multiple times for re-education?
Answer: I never witnessed people were sent multiple times. I knew that people were sent for re-education and they disappeared. For this instance, I have heard of.
Very well. I would like to ask you another question on another topic, Mr. Witness, and that is your statement E3/5521, your answer to questions 25 and 27. Question 25 reads as follows: in 1975, did you see the evacuation of people? And your answer is, I saw people evacuated from the city. They traveled along the road toward their individual birth districts. In case people who did not have the birth district, they asked to stay as citizens in that village or district. And questions 827, when people came to live in the village, was there any instruction plan? The upper echelon instructed to have those people live in one location, either in the pagoda or in the school. Later on, they were divided to go to the villages. Upon arrival in the village, they ate commonly with the base people. My first question, Mr. Witness, is about people who had come from the city and traveled to what you called individual birth districts. How were you able to determine that people who came from Phnom Penh actually had returned to their birth district?
Answer: Phnom Penh evacuees, they traveled along the road, they pull carts, they push carts, they travel. Some people were traveling by car, and they had some small belongings. And there was the announcement that those who came from which birth districts, they should go back to their birth districts.
But in your years as commune chief of Ning Nang, for instance, were you able to tell who from the original evacuees had in fact returned to their birth district?
Answer: I once again would like to inform you that I was in the office. I never became a commune chief. People from Phnom Penh were traveling along the road near my office, and they said they were from Kampot province, and some said that they were from nearby villages. And I was told that they were traveling to find their parents at their birth place.
I know it's a difficult question, but are you able to give a percentage of people who had arrived from Phnom Penh? How many of the people who you saw were in fact, or had in fact returned to their birth village?
ការចំនួននោះ
Answer. At that time, I did not know how many of them, and I could not give you the statistic, but I could see people were traveling. I do not know how many families were traveling to their birth districts. Some people were traveling to the west to Kampot province, and some were traveling to Tukmir. So I could not tell you the percentage.
I understand, Mr. Witness, but the reason I'm asking you the question is because you yourself made the distinction. But could you indicate whether the majority of the people coming from Phnom Penh were in fact people who had returned to the birth district?
Answer. I do not get your question. Please repeat your question, please.
I'll move on, Mr. Witness. People who had come from Phnom Penh, either returning to the birth district or not, were they, in your knowledge, discriminated against because there were people coming from Phnom Penh?
Answer. First, people were not discriminated. People from Phnom Penh or from Takao province, they were allowed to live in cooperatives. At the beginning, there were no proper settlers, and some people were living with their parents for a temporary period of time, and some others were living in schools in pagoda, so they were eating communally with base people at that time, at the beginning.
But were you ever instructed to treat the people who had just arrived from Phnom Penh worse than the people who had already lived there? For instance, in terms of food or working conditions? Or was everybody treated the same?
Answer. As I told the court already at the beginning, people were treated equally. They were eating together. There were no clear plans, and there was no distinctions at the beginning.
So, in other words, no such policy from the upper echelon existed. You were not instructed to make any distinction between the people. Is that correct?
President, please hold on, Mr. Witness. You may proceed now, International Co-Prosecutor.
I have an objection, Mr. President. The answer was as follows. This witness said on 2 occasions that it was at the beginning the people were treated in the same manner. He didn't say when and during what period. And this question is very general. he talks in general terms about displaced persons without referring to the specific period. And it is important for us to know what that period is. Thank you.
Very well, Mr. President. I will specify. Mr. Witness, you've testified that there was no difference in treatment between 17 April people or new people and the old people. Was that the same for every year? Were the people treated the same in 1975, 1976, 1977, 1978?
Answer. I do not really get your question. I would like to consult with my duty counsel first. President, it's not a question which leads to self-incrimination. So your answer may not lead to any prosecution against you. You may consult with your duty counsel when it comes to the question which leads to self-incrimination. After you got the question from the party, you may give your response. So your answer may be the result of the statement you gave to investigator of the OCIJ in the past time. Answer. Thank you very much. As I informed the court already, at the beginning they were eating together, they were working together, and after that people were put in different groups. There were 17 April people group, and they were living in different groups from base people.
I understand. Thank you, Mr. Witness. But my question relates more to discriminatory measures, treating one group more badly than the other group. Your testimony was, I believe, no. But my question is, was there any change in treatment? Was the treatment the same in 1975, 76, and 77, and so on?
Answer. In 1975, as I said, people were equal. When it comes to 1976, late 1976, some people who were evacuated from different places, they were put in the units, and they were allowed to live with base people as well.
Mr. Witness, do you remember an instruction in the summer of 1978 indicating that the division between base people and 17 April people was to be abolished?
And answer, in 1978, I knew that the division was abolished, and there was an announcement that people were to be treated equally, no matter that they were 17 April people or they were base people. The division was abolished in late 1978.
But how does that compare to your answer that people weren't discriminated to begin with?
ពីដំបូង
Answer. At the beginning, there was no discrimination, and after that, division of people were imposed. In late 1978, people were again treated equally. It was prohibited that there was no discussion of 17 April people, so people from 1978 were treated equally.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Last question. Do you know how many people were living in Nang Nang commune in 1975, 1976, by estimate?
Answer. I was not aware of the numbers of people who were living in the Nhai Nho. I did not have any statistic. Only the committee knew about the statistic. I was not aware how many people, how many family holes, how many families were living in Nhai Nho.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Thank you, Mr. President.
បាទជាបន្តទៅនេះអរមាន
President, now I give the floor to the defense team for Mr. Kyosampon to put your question to this witness. Counsel Kongsamon, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Witness, I would like to seek your clarification on your answer concerning the difference between commune committees and commune office. You stated earlier already that you were dealing with economics, food supplies, and so on. I would like to seek your clarification. What were the cadres doing in the commune office, and how was the commune office different from commune committee? Answer. Thank you very much. Commune committees were dealing with administration. They were supervising people. For those who were working in the office, the commune office, they were dealing with food supplies. They would supply the food for people. So at the beginning, communes and villages would come to seek a food supply from the commune. And the commune chief would decide on food supply. And Bonsi was the former chief of the commune, and I heard that he is now living in Chuam San. Question. What year are you referring to? Answer. I am referring to the period of 1975, 1976. I did not know whether in late 1976 or late 1977. He was sending to live in Kampong Jam, and after Bunsi, it was Tasum who was the commune chief. And at that time, I left the commune already. Question. You haven't told the court concerning the people who were working in the commune office. Could you tell the court about the members of the commune office? Answer. In the commune office, there were only me and two messengers. The two messengers would send a letter to request food or vegetable from villages. And in the commune committee, there was a clerk to do the registry. And as for the clerk, he is deceased. Counsel, thank you very much. Were you a member of the commune committee at that time? Answer. At that time, I was not part of the commune committee. I was in charge of the commune office, particularly in dealing with economics, to supply food for different units in the communes. Council, could you once again tell me the composition of the commune committee? Perhaps there was a head of the commune committee and there was a secretary or there was a clerk. Could you tell the names of those who were in the commune committee?
បាទអរគុណខ្ញុំ
Answer. Thank you. Bunsi was the head of the commune. And as for the deputy, I did not know her surname. Her first name was Suan, and Tia was the member. Ta Chuan was also a member. And the clerk who wrote the report was Mr. Yo. He was deceased already. Luk Yo was not the member of the commune committee. He was the clerk dealing with the reports.
Question: Did your work dealing with the military affairs at the commune office? Answer: as I have stated, I was a soldier engaging in the battlefield in Takeo, and that was in 1973. And later on, I became ill, and I contracted malaria, and then I was transferred to work at the Nyanyong office, and that happened in early or mid 1974. Question. My question was about the commune soldiers. Was you involved with the commune soldiers? I did not refer to the time that you was a soldier in a battlefield. Answer. Singh was in charge of the commune soldiers as well as Chuan. He was the brother-in-law of C. He is currently living in Neil commune, Tramkot district. Question. Let me clarify with you. So you never worked or dealt with the commune soldiers or army, is that correct? President, Mr. Witness, please wait for the microphone to be operational first. Witness, I already told you that I used to be a soldier in a battlefield. Council, I want you to clarify it about the commune soldiers. Of course, we heard you talk about being a soldier in 1973 in a battlefield. But I'd like to specify it about the commune soldier. Were you in charge of a commune soldiers force somewhere in Takai province? Answer, no, I did not while I worked at a commune. Question, you were questioned by Judge Laverne about Tahony and that you knew him. Did you ever work together with Tahony? Mr. President, Mr. Witness, please wait for the microphone to be operated first. Witness. At that time, Tahony was chief of Libo commune, and in 1976 or mid-1976, I was transferred to be there, and I was a member of the commune, and Tahony was the chief, and there was another who was his deputy. Question, in your capacity as a member of that commune committee, what was your responsibility? Answer, as a member, I was assigned to deal with the dry season farming at the Kampong Tul, and that was in Trang district. I was also assigned to dig canals with other workers. Question, did you have any specific responsibility? For example, as a member of the committee, you were assigned to be in charge of logistics or economics or military affairs. Can you tell the court about that? The chief was in charge of all affairs, and the deputy was in charge of the economics, and a member in my capacity was in charge of culture. Question, can you recall or that you knew about it, that you were actually assigned to be in charge of the culture as a member of the commune committee? President, Mr. Witness, please be mindful of the microphone. Witness. At that time, that was how it was assigned. That is a specific duty for the chief, the deputy, and the member of the commune committee. Questioned. So you were assigned in charge of culture, and what did you do for that specific task or specific assignment? Answer. I advised each unit to teach young children. However, the teaching was not formal. The intention was to teach children to know how to read and to write alphabets. And it happened under a house or under a tree. the teachers did not have any proper qualification, but only those who knew more than the one they taught. Question. Were you the direct supervisor of teachers in Libo commune where you was a member and Tahony was the chief? Or was it somebody else? Answer. There were other teachers who were in charge. There was a chief of the commune female group who was directly in charge. Question. And your duties as the one who was in charge of culture, what was your relationship between teachers and other cadres who dealt with the cultural issue? Answer. The relationship between the teachers and myself was that I advised those teachers to try to work hard to teach literature to those male and female children. And as I said earlier, when those children had free times, they would go and collect cow dung to make a natural fertilizer. So it means they would engage in this work for 2 to 3 hours and attended the class for 1 to 2 hours. Question. Did you receive any report on the outcome of the study of those children? Answer. Yes, I did receive a study report as they were done by those teachers. At that time, teachers also receive textbooks for teaching. Question. Since you received reports, can you tell the court whether by the end those students or children could read or write? Answer. Some students could read the alphabets. However, their knowledge was rather limited. Question. I have a general question to put to you on the principle of the CPK. You actually stated that you were a candidate member of the CPK. And my question is the following. What principles or core principles of the CPK that you learned? Answer. Respond to your questions based on what I can recollect. As a candidate member, the rights that we had was not as equal as the ones who were recognized as full rights members. However, we would we could be in a leading position to lead people to work at our base. For the full rights members, they have the authority to produce reports to the upper level, that is to the district or to the sector level, etc. Question. My question is on the principle related to the policies of CPK. Do you recall any major principles on those policies of the CPK? Answer. As I am now getting old, I can recall those principles. There are only a few that I can recollect now. That is, first, to organize the people at our base. Second, to organize the work or the affairs inside the party properly. Question. Can you elaborate a bit further on what the organization of the work inside the party rank? What do you mean by that? Answer. This implied that we had to be loyal to the CPK without swaying or without going offside, and to strictly follow the line, the political line of the CPK. Question. What about the food supply issue? Answer. On this matter, at each base, we had to strive to deal with the living condition of the people and try not to encounter any food shortage. That is, to produce food sufficiently. Question. This morning at about 11:09 hours, you made a response, and let me quote, that the upper echelon instructed the commune level to provide sufficient food to the people, unquote. On this issue, that is, the commune level was instructed to provide sufficient food to the people. What measures did you take in order to ensure that there was sufficient food supplied in your commune? Answer. As I stated this morning, in Tribunal communes that I took charge, we organize various units. For example, a unit responsible for planting vegetables, and another unit to raise livestock, including pigs and cows. And the cows which were raised in a pen, and the cows on the field. And the economic section was assigned to go and find fish as a supplementary daily food supply. And every 10 days, I managed to give people meat to eat. Sometimes it was pork, and sometimes it was either beef or chicken. And usually, or almost on a daily basis, the soup given to the people was that of a vegetable mix with a chicken. Question. Can you also tell the court about the food shortage in your commune? What was the level of seriousness of a food shortage? Was it a severe food shortage, for example, or was it just a slight and unnoticeable food shortage? That is based on your implementation as instructed to ensure sufficient food supply for the people in your commune. Answer. Indeed, there was a food shortage, and in percentage, for example, there were about 30% of food shortage, as I could deal with about 70%. Previously, Ta Khun, who was the former commune chief, did not raise the level of percentage of food supply as well as I did during my reign. And immediately, in fact, upon my arrival, I increased the food supply based on the actual situation. And in fact, yes, previously they did raise livestock, but they did not provide the meat from the livestock to the people in the commune. Question. You said that they did not resolve the living condition. Did you mean that they raised the livestock but did not share it with the people? Answer. Yes, that is correct. Question. And can you tell the court why the commune chief who was there before you arrived did not provide pork or beef or chicken to the people? Answer. Based on my observation, their solution to the problem was limited, as only very little meat was given in the soup, because the soup mainly consisted of vegetable, and that's what I saw, and that's what I learned from people in various units. When I asked them, they said that they did not have enough food to eat. Question. So, upon your arrival to be overall in charge of the various communes that were worked with, namely Liei Bo, Srai Runung, and Nha Nhong, what was the feedback from the people? Did the people tell you that they had sufficient food to eat, or food shortage remained? That is the general feedback from the people when you went there to resolve this issue. Answer. I did not receive any feedback while I was in Nha Nhong commune and in Liei Bo commune. There was quite a severe shortage because there was a former battlefield, and for that reason I tried to resolve the issue by working the rice, the dry season farming, and to organize a unit to engage in plantation, to produce cassava so it could be used to mix with rice. And while I was in Srai Runung commune in 1978, I again resolved the living condition of the people there. In fact, there was food storage, but at the economic section of that commune, but they did not distribute it to the people. But by the time I went there, I distributed those food, the food, to the people. That's why they liked me, and they told me that the Kun, who was the former commune chief, did not provide sufficient food to them to eat. And wherever he went, people would just try to get out of his way. Question. Now I'd like to move to another subject. While you were in Libo commune, can you tell the exact time that you were there, or when you were a member of that commune committee? Answer. I was in Libo commune probably from mid-1976 through late 1977, and in March 1978 or May 1978 I was transferred to take charge of Tribunal commune. And further on, in late 78, I was transferred to be in charge of Ong Tasam commune, and I was there only for 2 months before the regime fell. Question. Were you aware of delegations from the upper echelon or from the center to visit your area, in particular to visit Libo commune? Answer. While I was working there, after I was assigned by the MOC to build a huge cooperative hall. The whole in the commune chief was transferred to the north zone, and Take replaced him. There was a Chinese delegation, Chung Kung Hui, who came to visit that cooperative, and Tarzan was in charge of receiving that delegation. Question. Were you aware of visits by other delegations? Answer. No, I was not. Question. In relation to document E1/253/1, which was a transcript of the hearing dated 27 January 2015, at about 14:03:45 seconds, a civil party who testified before this chamber spoke about your presence, and you were referred to as Dano because that civil party did not know your full name. The civil party also stated that, and let me quote, question, You refer to Tano in paragraph 25 of your statement. And do you know his full name and what was his position? Answer. His name was Tano. He worked at the commune office with Tahon, but I do not know his full name. I only knew he was known as Tano. Everybody was afraid when he or she saw Tano. We had to work quickly because we were afraid of him as he was rather cruel or strict. End of quote. I also to add another extract, a little bit above what I just read to you, in response to the question. You also mentioned of the name Tahun. It was in fact Tahun. Do you know his which position he held at the time? Answer. His name was Tahon, and he was the commune chief, who was in charge, who was superior of Tano, and Tano was in charge of the commune military. End of quote. Can you tell the court again whether you was in charge of the military at the commune while you was a member of Tahon? Answer. While I was a Tahon's member, I was not in charge of the military. It was Sod who was in charge of the military affair, and I was merely a member of the commune committee. Of course, people could make various interpretations based on their observations. Some of us were liked by other people, some were afraid of us, etc.
Counsel, thank you very much. Could you clarify for the court about the fact that you were afraid, or people were afraid of Ta? Could you say that it is because the activity you were acting on people, that's why people were afraid of Ta? Answer. I always had a big voice, and I was normal with people. However, during the meeting, I spoke very loudly, and I had big voice. That is why some people were afraid of me. What I said was truth, and I had loud voice, as I said. Counsel, thank you. Did you ever punish or reprimand people which could show that you were cruel? That is why people were afraid of you while you were working in the bowl? Answer. I never punished or never reprimanded anyone. I had a loud voice, and I always encouraged people to work hard so that we could solve our livelihood. Actually, as I said, I had loud voice, and when I used the loudspeaker, my voice would even be louder, and people perhaps were afraid of me because of my voice. Counsel, thank you very much. When you were questioned by Mr. Kope, you stated that when you were in charge of the commune, when you were head of the commune, you never arrested people. But when the question dealt with the arrest, you said that the arrest happened at night time. During that time, it was very quiet. Did you recall your statement? And I would like to ask a question in relation to this matter. Concerning the arrest at night time, did it happen when you were head of the commune? Answer. I told the court already, the arrest happened during typhoon rain. I secretly asked people, and I was told that the people were arrested at night time while Takun was in charge. When I was transferred to Srai Nonong, there were no arrest of people for re-education. Counsel, please clarify your answer, Mr. Witness. You said that you never arrested anyone for re-education. Did you want to say that there were no arrests at all of people for re-education while you were working in the commune committee in Srai Nono? Answer. In Srai Nono commune, there were no arrests while I was in the commune committee. When I was at Tu Cruz digging the canal, I knew that a few people, one or two, disappeared. At that time, the unit of the district and sectors were in charge of that area, and we were there to dig canals, and the work site was far away from Srai Rono. Counsel, concerning Srai Rono, did you know whom were they that they were arrested while you were working in commune committee? So answer. I told the court already before there were arrests. But when I was transferred to be in charge of that area, there were no arrests. Counsel, thank you very much. I understand it well now. Could you again clarify it for me? Why was there a difference between the way you supervise Srai Nonong commune and the way others people supervise Srai Nonong commune? Answer. It depends on one's mind, because we have different minds in the way we supervise. Some chiefs, perhaps they were absolute. they wish to live forward. And for me, I was kind, I was gentle. So the methods that we supervise people were different. In Srai Ronong commune, I was in charge of general tasks. So it was me who deal and engage in general tasks. So as I said, it depends on those who supervise, and it depends on their minds. Counsel, thank you very much. In relation to your testimony, which you have just stated now, you said that depends on the people's heart or people's mind. I would like to ask you whether there was a policy from the upper echelon in relation to the administration of the commune, or did the commune have the authority to supervise the commune on their own will? Answer. There was order from the central to zone to sector to the districts. But some communes, perhaps they did not follow the order on some occasion, because the commune was close to the people, and if we followed whatever ordered from the top, the situation would be confused. And for some matters, we would deal the matter peacefully. And as I said, some commune chiefs, the chiefs were absolute, so they had their own administration. Counsel, thank you. In relation to your answer just now, you said there was an order from the center. What kind of order was it? Could you give me an example in relation to such order? Answer. The order from the top required us to supervise our commune, our cooperatives. We were asked to strive to deal with the situation of the people, particularly in food supplies. And we were asked to produce good yields so that we could solve the livelihood of the people. And we were also asked and required to increase the population among people. Some communes which could not deal with all these matters, they were accused of reluctant to follow the order of the party. I was working very hard. I ate with people so that I could supervise my commune well. And at that time, there was the plan set for people as well when they had to visit their families, and we were afraid at that time. Council, President, thank you, Mr. Counsel. It is now convenient time for a short break. The Chamber will have a short break from now on until 3 o'clock. court officer, please facilitate a proper room for this witness and for the duty counsel, and also for a reserved witness. And please have this witness and his duty counsel back to the courtroom before 3 p.m. The court is now adjourned.